that it took to electrolyze, and what's the current being used? So now, when we uncover these, I'm going to go one by one, and I want you to be aware that it's going to look a little bit intimidating at first because there's going to be 5 steps. But it turns out after you've done a couple of them, it's so easy. Because the units kind of guide you as to what you have to do step by step. Now, I went this whole chapter without nagging you to start your homework, because I knew you wouldn't listen anyway. However, now today's Monday and your quiz is Wednesday. Today might be a good time to open your book.
Oh, I did last night.
Sir.
Why do today we put it up?
You can put it off till tomorrow, too. Yep.
Why not
Yeah.
Wednesday morning?
Which is the procrastinator's dream. Wednesday morning is a good time, too. Yep. Yes.
Right before the quiz?
Didn't even think of that. Yes, you got like a half hour before the quiz. Okay, one line, Spencer. First thing that we do is we need to have the time in seconds. So whatever time unit you have, get it into seconds first. Why do we need seconds? Because of this thing right here. The amps are coulombs per second, so we're going to have to manipulate our units to get rid of the seconds, get into coulombs. Spencer, one more line. Now we're going to convert from the amount of time in seconds into coulombs, the amount of charge that flowed, by multiplying the current times the time. Current is this thing. When you multiply it by time, you're going to just get coulombs. Have you learned something in this chapter that coulombs are related to? Moles of what?
Electrons.
Yes, very good. Good memory.
Faraday's constant.
That's Faraday's constant.
Which I
Yep.
always looked up.
That really big
Next
number.
slide. We're going to be able to get into moles of electrons by using Faraday's constant. Yep. There's 96,485 coulombs in every mole of electrons. So now we're getting somewhere. We're trying to find how many grams of a metal will plate. Now we've gotten to how many moles of electrons have come in to the compartment. One more. If we know how many moles of electrons have come in, we're going to have to use the oxidation number to get how many moles of the metal got reduced. How many moles of electrons would it take to reduce a mole of sodium? A mole of sodium would take 1 mole of electrons because sodium has a positive 1 oxidation number. What about a mole of calcium?
2.
You need 2 moles of electrons. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here, the oxidation number. I'll show you an example before we leave. One more line, Spencer, then we're done with this one. You're going to have moles of the metal that reduced. Now just convert it to grams using the molar mass. I see a lot of sleepy eyes today.
Yeah.
Sujai, how you feeling? You're sleepy. The key to daylight savings time is to take a nap on that Sunday.
I did, and then I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh
Neither
gosh,
did
you
I.
did? Yeah. A nap today, already today? That's a good idea.
I wanted to take a nap today for lunch to make it go.
All right, let's go on to the next slide. Let's take a look at an example. This is a pretty easy electrolysis example. Let's start with an easy one. It's 1013. I don't know if we can get to it. All right. Now, number 91 in the book, they're asking us to determine how much of a metal gets plated. Plated just means reduced to the metal. We have cobalt here that's being plated out of an aqueous cobalt-2 solution. So the electrolysis setup has a current of 15 amps running for an hour. And we're going to want to know how many grams of cobalt can be plated in that hour. Ready?
Let's go.
Come on, this is our last example. Keep your eyes open, even if you hold them open. Kyle, just hold them open.
I'm glued stuck to the roof of my head.
What?
That doesn't make any
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not making any
Continue.
sense right now.
All right, so what was step 1? Get our time into seconds. Right now, this thing ran for an hour. How many seconds is that?
60 seconds.
I was about to say 60.
Anybody in, anybody in physics knows that one. Yeah, you got to use that a lot in physics.
No, you don't. You don't learn physics.
What?
You don't
In your
learn
motion?
physics.
Oh my gosh.
Physics always
Okay.
What is a physics?
I'm being recorded, so I won't say anymore. What's number 2? Once we're in seconds, what are seconds related to? This thing right here.
Coulomb.
Amps are coulombs per second. So now we're going to go from seconds into coulombs, and then, we're going to move on from there. So it was, now remember, 15 amps means 15 coulombs per second. See what I mean?
Yes.
So there are 15 coulombs in every 1 second. Use a little dimensional analysis. After you do a couple of these, you find, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Wish the whole chapter was this easy. This gets us into coulombs. Seconds have canceled out. Now, our coulombs, what do we do with?
You're gonna divide by Faraday's constant.
There are 96,485 coulombs. And seriously, just remember 96,000. If you can't remember all 5 digits, 96,000 is good. And what is that equal to? Yeah, Faraday says that every mole of electrons has that charge. Now what do we do now that we have how many moles of electrons came into the compartment? What were we reducing? We were reducing cobalt plus 2. So every mole of cobalt is going to need how many moles of electrons to
2
reduce
moles.
it? 2 moles, yeah. Just use the oxidation number. It's going to look like this. We need 2 moles of electrons for every 1 mole of cobalt. Just like that. So we've canceled out the coulombs, canceled out the moles of electrons, and we have moles of cobalt. What was the question? What are we trying to find here?
The mass.
What? Mass of cobalt. So we've got one more step to do. Simplest one of all. Get us to, 58.9 grams of cobalt in 1 mole. And away we go. So you just calculate that baby out.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's 10:16. We can do one more example.
No,
And I think we should.
Or
we should.
We can sleep.
Example or sleep?
You're already.
Example. You got it. Spencer? Is it okay if we don't even come up with a number? It's so easy.
Yeah.
Just multiply, crank the numbers out. Let's try this one. This one I am going to ask you. In 5 minutes, can you come up with an answer for it?
Whoa.
Yes, just try it. Just start converting, see what you get. Yeah. Yeah. The Newton's equation is fancy. I think it just goes like this.
Ooh, fancy. Anyone want to spare me $80?
Whoa! Yeah, dude, I got it. Don't worry.
No, trying to get to see the point. That's why.
Well, I think you have one question. She said you'll buy me a robot.
What? Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, it's still going on.
Yeah.
Pretty good, I believe.
What was the last one? Was it
So the charge is full.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, exercise.
I know it does.
Gary. Is MnO3 taken thrice? I love it. NO3 is -1. Gotta know nitrate. So yeah, the M is positive 3.
I can't calculate this. That calculator.
Too many numbers. My brain is fried. See, even Mr.
Okay,
Morris can't
Kyle.
tell most from science.
Stop speaking.
Stop it.
I caught that.
So the mass of it is 20.890. Me or him? Woohoo.
I was listening to Rios. Eman, what did you say?
I'm missing.
Yell it out when you have it.
Finish Smith.
What is it?
8.9.
Darn you.
Andrew? What do you have? You're about to yell it.
I don't know.
Do you have a molar mass at least?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but you can't see the periodic table. Okay.
Oh,
All right,
what's the 1 mole of
I got
the
it.
electron thing? Is that like a
Faraday's constant.
Faraday's constant.
Okay.
Faraday.
So what's the matter?
All day favorite
What
day.
is 2
Darn, you were said before I could get a drink.
Just figure out what the molar mass is and you can find.
Molar mass
Been called for.
with of 2.
Yeah, now what do we do? Once you get to moles of M, yeah, you can do, we don't know how many,
0.1
or what the molar mass is, so you can just use this as your conversion factor. Just call it X grams per mole. And what's the answer to this entire problem? That gives you the mass that was obtained, 0.107. And solve for X. You'll have one unknown in this whole setup. So just crank your numbers out, you're going to have an X term in there and solve for it. What was another thing you could have done though, rather than doing this?
Just solve for X.
Check.
If you solved for moles of M, then take 0.107 grams divided by the moles you got, and that would give you the molar mass too.
That
But this seems
So
like
isn't that just solving
This is
for
so
X?
quick.
Quick.
Isn't
Yep.
that just solving for X?